And good morning, and it's 6 o'clock in the morning here in Venice. Oh, and the photographers are already out on the bridge for the sunrise, so let's go up here and join them. This is why you get up early in Venice. Not only is it beautiful light with the sunrise, but of course there's nobody here. But actually there are a few people here, there are a few photographers on the bridge, and also there's lots of people actually working. So the bin men are all doing their thing, and yeah, let's just turn the camera around and you can enjoy this square. Yes, there's just you and me, a whole square, and the birds singing as the sun is just rising. And wow, it really is something. So let's carry on round and see if we can get to Piazza San Marco. If you take away only one thing from this video, then let it be this. If you have a hotel in the city, then get out from about 6 AM and enjoy the quiet of the early morning. Grab a pastry, maybe a coffee as you walk, and then return to your hotel just before they stop serving for a well-earned second breakfast, safe in the knowledge that you've now had the best of the day. And through this little passageway is what we've been aiming for. So how to describe Piazza San Marco? There's a big tower over there, there's an old church, there's some cafes, and a bit of building work in the corner. It's nice if you like this kind of thing. It's not a station though, is it? Oh, and it's a bit of a reminder here that history isn't always what you think it is. Did you notice? The Campanile only dates from 1912, which is when it had to be completely rebuilt after the original collapsed. Right, the morning's wearing on, but I still have time to cut across here and we can get to Rialto and then pop around to my hotel to pick up my bag. I do love the Rialto area as it's quite commercial, and I wish I could spend a little more time here this morning, but I need to be on the 8 o'clock train for Verona. Still, this last hour in Venice has been magical, and I hope you enjoyed this small diversion from trains. That's more like it. Here we are at Venice Santa Lucia station, and there's about 20 minutes until my train departs. The station is called Santa Lucia after the convent and the church that they demolished in 1861 to build the original station. What's here now is a modernist structure that is actually a great antidote to the classic Venetian architecture that you find all around. I think the simplicity of the concourse is now somewhat marred by these modern pop-up shops, although the mosaic and the ceiling remain, complemented by some handy departure boards. On the platform side, on a morning such as this, the modernist design gives a light and airy feeling. And out on the platforms there's all manner of high-speed trains, but they're not for me today. There's also newer platforms that have been added to the side from an old goods yard. And as I'm on a commuter train, that's where my service will depart. And this service is now run by ETR 521 ROC EMUs, which have been in service since 2019. So, before we get on, let's have a look at today's route. It's an almost westerly trip on mostly fast, straight track with stops at Venice Mestre, Padova, Vicenza, San Bonifacio, Porta Vescovo, and then into Verona's main station at Porta Nuova. As there's not many stops, this little run of 119 kilometres or 74 miles is scheduled to take us a fairly respectable 1 hour and 28 minutes. Well, this Hitachi ETR 521 is pretty standard 21st century fare for a double-deck commuter. The inside is bright and the seats look functional, if not luxurious, and there's a mix of airline and facing seating, with limited provision for power which reflects the shorter journeys that passengers tend to make. The two-tone blue with orange highlights is just fine, and the provision of armrests on a commuter train is very welcome. Legroom is also okay, but honestly, I've never seen exposed cabling like that on a modern train. That really is a bit shoddy. Anyway, we're away on time across the Liberty Bridge, and we should get some good views of the lagoon. The bridge across the lagoon is made up of two railway bridges, one from 1846 and one from 1970, and a road bridge which was inaugurated in 1933, and the whole lot was named the Liberty Bridge in 1946 with the fall of fascism. As we get to the other side, it's fascinating to see the mainland warehouses where goods have to be transshipped onto small boats for delivery down Venice's canals. At Mestre, a lot of people board the train, including many school children on their daily commute. So it's about to get very noisy in here. It's a fast straight run and we're soon into Padova, where there's a healthy exchange of passengers, but the train remains full with all the seats taken. So I'd better point the camera out of the window. And now we swing northwesterly for Vicenza, but the line remains straight and level, so the ETR 521 can cruise at its 160 km an hour top speed pretty much all the way. This landscape is indeed super flat, but the mountains of the southern Tyrol do rise in the distance. Oh, and a word about our train. It's referred to as a rock, and I was slightly confused by that. And then it turns out that's just the branding for the local trains here. They also have trains called Jazz, Pop and Swing. I'm not sure Rock and Swing are good names for trains, really. And once again, the train empties and fills. This is certainly a very well-used service. Soon after leaving Vicenza, we can start to see evidence of the extensive work being undertaken in the area to improve the Milan to Venice corridor and generally increase capacity in this part of the world. And here's a new viaduct and bridge that appear to be nearing completion. Although it still looks like there's a lot left to do. And we pull into San Bonifacio on time. But we're going to have to sit here for 10 minutes to let what I assume is a late-running express through ahead of us. Oh, and these commuter seats are now taking their toll. This is not proving to be a very comfortable seat at all. I think this is the new junction for the high-speed line that will run to the south of this one. Porta Vescovo serves the city on the east bank of the river. We drop off a few passengers here, and then it's the final run into Porta Nuova over the River Adige. And we roll in just 3 minutes late, which ain't bad after being held at San Bonifacio. As I leave the train, I note I could have bought a ticket from Trenitalia for this journey for just €10.20, which, considering the distance, seems about a fair price. Of course, I was travelling with my Interrail pass. So here we are, we made it to Verona, Porta, Nuova, and stood amongst all these poppies. It's rather beautiful here, and it's a lovely morning. So I hope you enjoyed that little run from Venice and a little look around Venice very early in the morning. I certainly enjoyed that, and yeah, I just managed to get a very small croissant for breakfast. So it's time to say goodbye and thank you very much for watching, and I'm going to potter off over there and see if I can find a second breakfast, and then after that, well, probably another journey. So yeah, do come back and join me on another journey, but for now, from Verona, it's goodbye and thank you very much for watching. And if you're interested in Hitachi trains with uncomfortable seats, then why not join me here on a ride from Exeter to London?